Okay, so believe it or not, there's actually some things from Harbor Freight that are not only good tools, but phenomenal tools. And my Daytona 3-ton jack I have had for coming up on 5 years. I want to say, honestly, at least 5 years now. And I have absolutely used the crap out of it for the last 5 years. Obviously, working in a shop, that's something you just use on a non-stop basis. And mostly for me, it's like the 1-ton trucks, the gooseneck trailers, the regular landscape trailers, I use it for jacking up the flail mowers on the big tractors, like the 15-foot flails and stuff. And so there's multiple thousands of pounds that I'm lifting up. And I've never had any issues with this jack, and I've used the crap out of it nonstop, almost on at least a weekly basis. I'm using it. And for the fact that you can get a jack like this for $250 is pretty stinking crazy, considering that personally I would consider this jack to be of absolutely commercial quality. And part of the reason for that, believe it or not, if you look right here, there was a lawsuit between Snap-on and Daytona for their Harbor Freight jacks. And apparently Snap-on wasn't happy that Daytona was making almost the exact same jack for a quarter of the price. If you look, even the wheels are the same. The little deals on the handle up there are the same. I'm sure that the Snap-on jacks do have some higher quality parts. Maybe it's the O-rings and the piston. They're a little bit higher quality that'll last a few more years. Maybe it's what the return springs are made out of, are a little less susceptible to being rusted or something like that. Not exactly sure where all the shortcuts were in the Daytonas, but I'm sure being made in China by slaves probably really helps them keep their costs down. But if you look at the price of the Snap-on ones, you're looking at over $1,000 for something that's probably a little bit better than the Harbor Freight one. But is it $750 more better, considering it's almost 4 times the price? I'm not sure, and my personal opinion would be is that it's definitely not worth the extra $750. I could buy 4 of those. I could buy 4 of the Harbor Freight ones for the price of this. And with the use that I've gotten out of my Harbor Freight one, I really personally think that I should be able to use that for the rest of my life. And if one of those return springs does go out, then I'll just go buy another return spring. If one of the O-rings go out in the hydraulic pump, you can just take it out and go to the store and get a new one for like 75 cents. And if you have any know-how at all, that's something that's not even beyond your abilities. So I'm going to go outside and mess around with my jack for a little bit and show you guys a little bit of stuff about it. So like any jack in the world, it absolutely sucks pulling it across gravel. I don't think there's any jacks made that are actually meant for pulling across gravel. If you guys know of any jacks that are meant for pulling it across gravel and dirt, then shoot me a link in the comments, because I wouldn't mind getting one for my job, because the gravel pulling totally sucks for this. But as you can see, the jack's got a pretty nice low profile. Had to rotate the little sitting plate up there to get it to get on the axle good. But as you can see, with a little bit of effort, it pulls those wheels right off the ground nice and easy. And that is with a gooseneck trailer with a mini excavator on top of it. So that's not just the weight of the truck. That's actually the weight of the truck and a lot of weight that's giving me some downforce on the trailer. You can see that the return springs are definitely doing their job pulling it down. Sometimes with cheaper jacks that don't have good return springs, it totally sucks, because once they're down, you have to pull them out and then step on them to push them the rest of the way down. This jack has a couple Zerk fittings that make the long-term operation a little bit easier. Just put a couple pumps of grease in there and it makes it nice and easy. Especially with what I was talking about with the return springs being able to pull it down. Got a couple on the back here, one on each side, just to keep it all lubed up and operating smoothly. As you can see, I've gotten a lot of years of use out of this. There is not a Zerk fitting on that front there. A couple Zerk fittings on each wheel in the front, which makes it, if you're rolling it across concrete, it makes it pretty convenient. But for the most part, I'm actually pulling it across gravel. So the welds on this, really stinking good. Welds all the way around where it pivots there. Welds around that. Welds around the flanges on the side. Good solid welds all the way around everywhere. Look at that, return springs pulling it down like a champ. If you've ever used a jack without good return springs, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So this jack has a dual piston thing. One is for volume and one is for the heavy duty, really pushing it when it's got some weight on it. So what is that, like 4.5 pumps and you get to full volume. So when you're pumping, it'll be super easy. It'll go up to your axle or go up to your jack point really quickly, and then once it's up there, it'll slow down and use the smaller piston for giving you the good pressure and getting the weight off the ground. You can see how they both kind of work there. The old junky jack that I used to use was 6 inches, and this one's 4 inches. And look how much longer the reach is on the Daytona. To refill the oil, you pop out those, there's 4 little Allen screws. You pop them out on either side, you pop that plate off, and there's a little plug in there. You can pop the plug out and put a little bit of extra fluid in there if you ever need to top it off. So the reason I got a Harbor Freight jack was actually because of watching Scotty Kilmer for the last 15 years of him being on YouTube. If somebody like Scotty Kilmer that works on cars on a daily basis can use a Harbor Freight jack, then heck, I can do it too.
Comes it all with them. And when it comes to jacks, here's a jack that I got from Harbor Freight Tool, this Daytona. You see all those jack handles behind me? Those are all Harbor Freight jacks, and they all still work. Some of them are 25, 30 years old. Again,
look at that. So don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love Scotty Kilmer, and even still I watch his videos all the time. But his voice is just so stinking funny to me. Like, it just gives me a smile listening to his voice. He's just, I don't know, I imagine that he's kind of an oddball. But I respect him and I enjoy his videos. This guy is a absolute encyclopedia of car knowledge. And then also, another video you should watch before you buy a jack is the Project Farm video on it. He does a video and he compares the Daytona and the Pittsburgh and the Arkan and the Blackjack and the Esco and the Husky and the Macadam.
If I had to choose just one jack, I would definitely go with the Daytona when you consider the value price as well as the performance.
And also something you guys might want to do is look up the spearfund.org and possibly watch some podcasts with a guy named Tim Ballard, because this is definitely a good organization. It's definitely worth donating some money to if you've got some extra change. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Adios!